cases that are pending. They're actually probation violation cases. Is that your understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And let me make sure that we're on the same page. You're one of the same person that was placed on probation on July 18th of 2017. And each of these cases I've read out loud before the court.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And with these cases, Mr. McCray, you have the absolute right. You have the absolute right to have a contested hearing. You don't have a right to a jury trial because they're revocation cases, but you have an absolute right to a contested hearing. And it's my understanding that you want to plead true to the allegations. However, you want to go open and let the judge assess your punishment, correct?
Yes, that's what we agreed to.
Okay, all right, just making sure. Now, you understand that because this is not a plea agreement, Mr. McCray, that whatever punishment that the court decides, if you would like to appeal that, you have a right to appeal that decision, okay?
Okay.
All right. So, Ms. Fox, I'm sorry, actually, Ms. Morris, do you have any evidence that you would like to present?
State would just offer State's Exhibit number 1, the defendant's signed written voluntary plea of true and stipulation of evidence, and ask that the court take judicial notice of the entire contents of the court's file.
No objection. All right. So, actually, let me go back. I kind of got ahead of myself, Mr. McCray. Ms. Fox, will you be waiving formal reading of the state's motion to adjudicate or proceed with adjudication on each of these cases and entering a plea on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, Damian McCray states that is his true and correct name, waives further reading of the motion to proceed with adjudication of guilt on both cases and enters a plea of true for both.
All right. So, Mr. McCray, as you heard, your lawyer has entered pleas of true on your behalf to each of these cases. Are those your pleas?
Yes, ma'am. In the cases of our probation violation?
Yes.
In
Yes.
criminal trespassing?
Yes. We're not dealing with the criminal trespass. I believe they're going to have another deal regarding the criminal trespass, but the felonies that we have are the evading arrest times 2. So you have 2 evading arrests, and your lawyer has indicated that you're going to plead true to violating some conditions of probation.
Yes, ma'am.
However, you're going to wait and let the court assess your punishment, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So are you doing that freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So now, Ms. Morris.
Now, State would offer State's Exhibit number 1, the defendant's signed written voluntary plea of true and stipulation of evidence, and ask the court take judicial notice of the entire contents of the court's file.
No.
Okay.
No objection.
All right. So what just happened, Mr. McCray, we have to go backwards, is that the state of Texas is now offering those pleas of truth that you just indicated that you signed with your lawyer, okay? All right. So State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted in each of the cases, which is the defendant's voluntary plea of true, as well as the stipulations in those cases. And the court will take judicial notice that the Michael Morton Act has been successfully complied with, as well as take judicial notice of the entire contents of the court's jacket, as well as probation file. Is there anything further from the state?
No, ma'am. The state would rest in both cases.
All right, Ms. Fox.
Yes, I'd like to call my client.
All right, Mr. McCray, if you will raise your right hand for me as best you can. Do you so solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down for me. Thank you. Ms. Fox?
Yes, Mr. McCray, I just have a few questions. Now, how did you end up in jail on this probation violation?
Well, I spoke to my probation officer on the 15th of May. I was checking in, speaking to her. She said, well, that's still on your record. I want to get you off probation. I extended it a year. You have 3 months left, and you need to do the safe neighborhood. You need to do your volunteer hours. And I told her it was still COVID, so I was trying, and I got my mom to agree to pay my fees, but she was also paying my rent. And during the time that I was, when I first left Wilmer, I graduated Wilmer with a 6-month program. I stayed in a boarding home for approximately 5 months, and then I bought my own apartment. So I stayed in a boarding home, and they came and checked on me in the boarding home, Ms. Williams and Ms. Butler. And then I moved to my own house, and I gave my address, and Ms. Williams just left my house. And Metro Care just left me getting my medicine, so they come to my house every other week to check on me. And I go check in, and it's been COVID, so I've been checking in over the phone. And I passed every drug test I've been doing, so I haven't been smoking anything. So I went to Wilmer. I used to smoke marijuana. I haven't been smoking since I finished college. And I've been doing good. I've been trying my best, and it's been helping me out a lot.
Okay, now, there are a couple dates in here that says July of 19, December of 19, and any month thereafter. Now, did you report?
Yes, ma'am. I was staying in the board home, and Ms. Williams came to see me, my head supervisor.
Okay, so they would come to the boarding house.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so did you turn yourself in?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay, because you knew that there was a warrant?
Yes, ma'am, for criminal trespassing.
Okay, now, the rest is money though, is correct? Plus you didn't do the community service hours or the safe neighborhood, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the rest is money. Were you having a difficult time paying your money?
Well, yes, ma'am, because I was trying to get an apartment, and Ms. Butler told me the only way she would finish my probation by me paying that. So she said I have to pay that before I finish, and I have to do the safe neighborhood before I finish. So I went to my meeting. I went to the meeting down here. It was at Lucier in the court building. I went to the safe neighborhood meeting, signed in, and I just have to do my volunteer and pay my fees. That's the last part of my probation, the next end of the year.
Okay, now prior to coming to jail, were you employed?
Yes, ma'am, I was employed.
And what were you doing?
I was doing day labor.
Okay, did you go to a specific day labor?
Yes, ma'am. People ready in Carrollton.
Okay, and so you were working.
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
have children?
Yes, ma'am. I have a daughter.
And how old is she?
She's 10 years old.
Okay, and who's taking care of your daughter?
Right now, her mother stays in New Orleans. I went to school with her, so I used to go to school in Louisiana. Her mother is taking care of my daughter and her daughter right now. And basically, I'm just trying to get on my feet so I can try to buy a house or something of that nature to recollect with her and try to build a relationship because I hadn't been with her in probably the last 5 years.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. What's your educational background?
I'm a junior in college right now.
Okay, what are you studying?
Business management.
Okay, what college are you going to?
Southern University in Baton Rouge, but I switched to DCCD, El Centro.
Okay, and what are you studying?
Right now, business management.
Okay, and let's talk, I believe you had some interaction with Metro Care, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and why did you go to Metro Care?
To get medicine, to try to take medicine, because I told the doctor I used to have withdrawals and things like that from smoking marijuana. And she said, this will help you out or whatever. She said, I told her I have a hyperactive problem. And she said, this is kind of the medicine that'll help you with it. And I told her weed calms me down a lot. She said, this would be basically help you with the same thing. Take it one time the night before you go to bed.
Is that Adderall or Risperidol?
It's Risperdal.
Risperdal, okay. And so you're still taking your medicine as they are prescribing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you understand that I'm going to ask the court, since your probation is up in September?
Yes, ma'am, 3 more months. Is it
Okay.
September or July? I believe it was
Well, I don't
July.
add real well, so we're the bottom.
July.
Okay, July. And so we're gonna be asking the court to go ahead and discharge you from probation. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else that you'd like to tell the judge?
No, ma'am.
Okay, do you think you'll be able, obviously you can't get to school right now, but is that your goal, is once everything calms down, you want to get back into school?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell the judge?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we have nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Morris?
Yes, just briefly, Your Honor. Mr. McCray, obviously the cases that you're on probation for are evading, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you have some other convictions for evading arrest in your past, in your criminal history, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then you have some criminal trespass cases and assaults, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You understand that while you're on probation for running from the officers, you picked up another evading that you pled to time on, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you understand that it's concerning to the state that there's a pattern of running from officers.
Yes, ma'am.
And the criminal trespass that you picked up while you were on these probations, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, ma'am. I was actually, that day I was looking for a job and I was dealing with certain things that day, and I seen one of my old friends, so I stopped to talk to him. In the middle of me talking to him, he was drinking a beer. So I was just letting him drink his little beer, whatnot, speaking with him. And in the middle of him drinking his beer, I was speaking to him for about 3 to 5 minutes, and the police walked up to him with his beer, and he tried to put it away, like put it on the ground. The police was like, "Hey, what y'all doing?" He's like, "Let me search y'all." So he searched us and whatnot. Then he ran my name and whatnot. Then he said, "Hey, you have a CT warning, so I'm gonna give you criminal trespassing, and I'm gonna take you in and let you see what's going on." This is my first time getting criminal trespassing. I said, "Okay." And I went in and they gave me a PR bond. I left. It's in that middle place.
Go ahead. And as far as the non-reporting, it looks like you had stopped reporting, believe it was in July of last year. Is that right?
I missed a month. And when I missed a month, I think I missed like a month to 2 months. And I called her. She said, "Dad, you need to come in today. I'm put a warrant out for your arrest." And I said, "Okay, well, I'll make it in today." And I made it in and took my drug test and things like that. And I told her I had a criminal trespassing warrant because I didn't make it to my court date. I was trying to get my warrant apprehended or lifted. So I told her I was trying to get my warrant lifted and get my mother to try to help me get my warrant lifted before I came in. She told me, "Well, I'll help you out. Just come in. I'm not going to arrest you. And if you keep doing right, you need to go get this here and I'll take you out probation. But other than that, you need to turn yourself in because I can take you to jail from here." And I was like, "Okay." See, I started having the police go pick you up, but I didn't. So
Do you feel your defense attorney mentioned MetroCare? Do you feel like that's something in terms of mental health services that you would benefit from if the judge does continue your probation?
Yes, ma'am. MetroCare helps me out a lot. It does, and it gives you somewhere to go to if I need help with the experiences I'm having in life, or if something difficult's going on in my life where I can't understand. I can go speak to a doctor, and I just got insurance, so it definitely helped me. And they have psych doctors and things like that on site that I can go see if I need help.
All right, that's all the state has at this time, Your Honor.
Okay. So let me see if I got this right, Mr. McCray. You were this close to getting this probation done, this close. And it does appear that out of your 2 years that you may have only missed, and Ms. Wilson, if you could help me with this, how many months did Mr. McCray miss on probation?
September, no, I'm sorry, July, so December, February, March, April, roughly 6 months. July 2019, and it also alleges December 2019 and any month thereafter.
All right, thank you, Ms. Wilson. And I also, just so that I'm clear, and it is very encouraging to see that you did not have the time that we did have you, because you were consistent for a while, Mr. McCray. You were doing really good. And of all of that time, I don't see where there was an allegation of a dirty UA. So thank you for that. I mean, you'd be amazed how long and how far that goes. All right, so State, do you have any closing arguments? Are you shaking your head?
Sorry, took me a second to unmute. Judge, at this time, we would ask that at the minimum, the defendant be asked to complete the remainder of his probation with some kind of MetroCare assistance. If the judge, if the court deems that he has not successfully completed or even complied with, which at this point with the running from the officers and the non-reporting, that concerns us in terms of continuing the defendant on probation. In that case, we would ask for revocation with some sort of time, state jail time of 6 months.
All right, Ms. Fox.
Yes, Your Honor. It looks like Mr. McCray has really been working hard, and he had a job, and things kind of go crazy sometimes, and they fail to report and things like that. But overall, I think he's done a really good job. He completed Wilmer, and as you stated, no dirty UAs, and most of that is money, except the non-reporting. So we would ask that, Your Honor, if you would go ahead and let him off now, or at least let him continue until his probation is over in July.
And so, Ms. Morris, you also indicated in your closing arguments that you would be fine with continuing Mr. McCray on probation
If the court deems that, we would. Yes, ma'am.
until the completion of his probation? Okay. So you are receiving services from MetroCare?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so this is my thought. I will find that the state's motion is true. However, I will allow you to remain on probation. And as a condition of that probation, I need to, Carla, Ms. Wilson, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to make it that as a condition of this remainder of the 2 months of probation, because, correct me if I'm wrong, is Mr. McCray's probation up on July 18th of 2020?
We have July 17th of 2020.
Okay, so for this remainder of the 2 months, is it possible for us to make it a condition that Mr. McCray report and give proof that he's reported not only to his probation officer, but to MetroCare?
He can definitely call in and either email or mail documentation of that, because we are in the COVID-19 non-reporting right now.
Yes.
That is definitely something we can get done. And I also want to correct myself. According to this motion, it is incorrect. He did report for the last 3 months. So this motion is incorrect as far as his reporting. So he's correct on reporting.
Yes, thank you so much. So, Mr. McCray, I don't want you to have convictions on this. And you did really come a far and a long way. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue you on probation for these next 2 months, okay? But let me be clear. You will need to, and I don't know how your lawyer can have it set up, or we'll make sure you get all your reporting instructions, and Ms. Wilson can provide you with an email address that once we receive proof that you have attended MetroCare or checked in with them, because they do have a virtual check-in. I think they're even allowing some people to come in, just so that you can get assessed and get whatever meds that they weren't giving you before. Once we have proof of that, then we will let your probation expire, and it will expire successfully, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And you will not have a conviction. Thank you for turning yourself in. A lot of people don't turn themselves in either.
Yes, ma'am.
So that will be the order and judgment of the court. I will find that the allegations are true. However, I'm going to allow you to continue on probation. And if you provide all of the necessary paperwork, or at least email us and let us know that you have successfully contacted MetroCare with whatever information you can get us, the date, the time, whoever you spoke with, they might be happy to provide you something as well. Once we get that, then on July 17th of 2020, your probation will end, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Is there anything further from the state?
No, ma'am.
All right. Anything further from probation?
No, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. That will be the judgment order of the court. This hearing will now end.